Morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. Well, this morning we continue our study on Jesus and the intimate moments. Luke chapter 10, Jesus visits the house of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. And it happened as they he entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who was also at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she approached him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore tell her to help me." And Jesus said to her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things. And it's not just this, Martha. You're stressed out over all kinds of things. Mary has chosen the better place for now, for this season, to sit at Jesus' feet." And he kind of rebukes Martha and just says, "Hey, you do what you got to do, and she's got to do what she's got to do." And the relationships there are as friends. And in Mark chapter 10, it's suspected that Lazarus may be, in fact, the rich young ruler. And it's emphasized in Mark's gospel that he says, Jesus looking at the rich young ruler, loved him and said to him, "One thing you lack, go your way and sell whatever you have and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven." And he went away sad because he had much personal possessions. Well, here's something interesting. When we see in John 11, when we see the women, Martha and Mary, come to Jesus, and they tell him, "The one that you love is sick." So, there's a correlation here, because in Mark's gospel, he tells him that he loved him. And then in John 11, that the one you love is sick. And after he dies and Lazarus is raised, he who died had came out bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said, "Loose him and let him go." And it's thought that Lazarus, not only he needed to come back to life, but he needed to be delivered. And we see later on that Lazarus has got a ministry. Well, of course he does. He has a great testimony of being raised from the dead. But later on, it's just discovered on the island of Cyprus that there was a bishop named Lazarus who was the friend of Jesus. So it's suspected that Lazarus became a follower, a real follower, not just one who was a friend of Jesus, because it's thought that Lazarus, in fact, owned the Garden of Gethsemane and let Jesus go in there on a regular basis with his disciples. So Lazarus then gets restored and renewed and put into the ministry. And this is an intimate setting because these are friends of Jesus, and they go there on a regular basis. And he still has time to minister to them. Awesome thing. And he'll have time to minister to you and your family. God bless you, and we'll see you again next time.